Chapter 1. She adored Pittsburgh, but to her, the old steel mills and polluted water were a metaphor for the decay of contemporary culture. No, that's too angry. I don't want to be angry. Chapter 1. She adored Pittsburgh and idolized it all out of proportion. To her, Pittsburgh was a town of the people, and always would be. I first moved to Pittsburgh in 2010. I instantly fell in love with the uniqueness of it, the landscape, the hills, and especially the three rivers. I didn't realize, however, until I worked on my first environmental campaign, just how polluted our rivers really are. Our rivers are considered unsafe to touch about 200 days out of every year. Our region's sewers collect both sewage and runoff from our roads and lawns that's laced with grease, fertilizers, and other pollution, and this finds its way into our three rivers. This past summer, I worked with Penn Environment, and we got the chance to talk to different people in Pittsburgh about the issues surrounding our rivers. And we weren't alone. These grassroots movements have gotten a lot of support, but despite efforts of conservation, the condition of our rivers has remained the same. I asked my friend Griffin, who's a civil engineer, to help explain some of the problems which are facing our three rivers.
You know, a tenth of an inch of rain, this entire area would flood with sewage from the combined sewer overflow that flows directly into the stream. And so, this was really one of the most disgusting spots in the entire city. The city bought this tract of land and redeveloped it, and then did a huge urban street mill project on this 9-mile run over here. And it's really one of the best things that the city has done to remediate the combined sewer overflow and the pollution in our streams. So this is called the 9-mile run because it's 9 miles away from the point. You know, very creative naming. But most of the stream is actually underground, and this is sort of the area in Frick Park where you can see where it comes out underground. And where it came out, it was just completely filthy with the sewage from the combined sewer overflow. It's really crucial that we keep our rivers clean from pollution, because simply that's the exact opposite of what we were doing for the past 70 years.
The problem in Pittsburgh is that our infrastructure is outdated. Our sewage systems are meant to contain wastewater and stormwater. This creates capacity problems, and our sewers are easily overwhelmed. Every time there's a heavy rainfall, the sewers flood and diluted sewage flows directly into our rivers. This sewage includes untreated human waste, industrial waste, toxic materials, and debris. This means every time it rains, you're not supposed to touch the water. This is problematic when you consider that 1 million people get their drinking water from the three rivers. If this is the municipal water source for 1 million people, why aren't we putting more money into it? The neglect of public water is a trend not only in Pittsburgh, but one seen across America. In all, we spend $29 billion a year on public water. This includes the cost of water treatment plants, piping, sewage, etc. This may seem like a lot until you consider that we spend $23 billion a year on bottled water. The bottled water industry is full of wasteful practices. Many companies take municipal sources of water, bottle it up, and ship it to different parts of the country. Though most bottled water comes from municipal sources, bottled water companies started a smear campaign against tap water, telling the public that it was unclean and unsafe. As a result, bottled water has been a fast-growing market in the U.S. Some even call it blue gold because of how profitable it is. But by purchasing bottled water, our money goes to private beverage companies and away from public investment. This move to private sources is part of the trend that's taken attention away from public water in Pittsburgh. It's also taken attention away from the cleanliness of the three rivers. But here in Pittsburgh, a lot of people still care about the health of our rivers and about the state of our public water. We also realize here in Pittsburgh that the problem isn't out of our control. We can still fix it.
All right, so we're at the Pittsburgh City Council about to go to a hearing on green infrastructure to treat our combined sewer overflows, and we're very excited.
On November 18th, there was a city council hearing called by the Clean Rivers Campaign and other concerned groups and citizens. This hearing proposed green infrastructure as a way to solve the combined sewage overflow problem. Green infrastructure can be used to mitigate stormwater. Stormwater planters, green roofs, and rain gardens all serve to absorb water. If planned on a large scale, green infrastructure could work to alleviate our outdated sewer system. This proposal comes in opposition to Alcosan's current plan of using only gray infrastructure. Alcosan, the Allegheny County Sanitary Authority, has proposed to solve the combined sewage overflow problem by building a large pipe under the rivers, a project that will cost a total of $2 billion. During the hearing, Jennifer Kennedy, the director of the Clean Rivers Campaign, argued that more needed to be done. She argued that more innovation needed to be invested into our rivers. The solution was not simple, but would likely include a combination of green and gray infrastructure. With a combination of green infrastructure and newer gray infrastructure, our combined sewage overflow problem can be solved. But this investment would greatly improve the health of our three rivers and the quality of our drinking water here in Pittsburgh. Growing up, all of these lessons are thrown at us in abstract ways. Early bird gets the worm, a stitch in time saves nine. Somehow, these seem to get lost along the way. But these lessons are valuable. And if a stitch in time does save nine, I think our rivers are worth it. I think Pittsburgh is worth it.
Don't know much about my history, now. Don't know much about biology. Don't know much about the science.